All right, today we're going to get into the story of an instrument that kind of feels like it just appeared out of nowhere and completely captivated the world, the handpan.
I mean, seriously, just look at this thing. It's this gorgeous saucer-like sculpture that looks like it could be from both the distant past and the far future, all at the same time. It's an object that just screams curiosity. But you know, the real magic kicks in the second you hear it. The sound is just otherworldly. It's resonant, it's soothing, and it has this incredible ability to create a super calm, meditative vibe that just pulls you in.
And you know, this quote from Sarah's handpans, it just nails it. Ear candy for our brains. There's something about the sound that our brains just seem to get on a really deep level. It's instantly pleasing, almost addictive.
So that's the big question we're tackling today, right? How does a sculpture made of steel create a sound that's so complex, so harmonious, and honestly, so emotional? We're going to peel back the layers and dig into the history, the physics, and the psychology behind it all.
To really understand the handpan, we have to go back to the very beginning. We've got to talk about the instrument that kicked off this whole global phenomenon.
As handpan maker Sean Beaver puts it, it all started with the hang. Yeah, before anyone even used the word handpan, there was this totally unique creation from a Swiss company called Panart, and its sound just floored everyone who heard it. And you can see on this timeline just how fast this all happened. Back in '95, the folks at Panart were already playing around with hand-played steel, and they made this thing called the Handpan. But the real game changer was in 2000, when they showed the hung to the world. It was an instant hit. Fast forward to 2008, and you've got makers all over the globe trying to create their own versions, which is what led to the amazing variety of handpans we see today.
So we know where it came from, but how does this steel sculpture actually make that magical sound? Let's get into the nitty-gritty and break down its anatomy and the physics behind it.
Okay, so a handpan is basically two steel shells that are glued together. Up top, you've got the playing surface. That note right in the middle, the convex one, that's the ding. It's the lowest note, kind of the anchor for the whole scale. Then you have the tone fields, those little dimples around it that make up the other notes. And that bottom shell is just as critical. It's the heart of the instrument's resonance, and it's where you'll find the gu.
And let's talk about the gu for a second. It's not just a hole, it's actually a precisely tuned Helmholtz resonator. You know that deep whoom sound you get when you blow across the top of a bottle? That's the Helmholtz effect. Well, the gu does the exact same thing for the whole handpan, making it louder and giving it that incredible long-lasting sustain. Pretty clever, huh?
But here's the thing. The real secret, the absolute core of why the handpan sounds so good, it all boils down to this incredibly simple, elegant ratio. Because you're not just hearing one note, you're hearing a perfectly engineered symphony of frequencies.
This right here is the key. Every single time you tap a tone field, you're not just hearing one sound, you're actually hearing three sounds at the same time. The main note, which we call the fundamental, its octave, which vibrates twice as fast, and a third sound, a compound fifth, that vibrates 3 times as fast. This perfect 1 to 2 to 3 ratio means the sound waves line up beautifully, creating a super pure and harmonious sound.
And what's so cool is that the story doesn't end there. Makers are still innovating. While that classic 1 is to 2 is to 3 ratio is king, some are now experimenting. By flipping the harmonics around, say to a 1-3-4 ratio, they can actually fit lower notes onto much smaller tone fields. It's a total game changer, pushing the boundaries of what these instruments can do.
So we've got the physics down, but how do you actually get that sound hammered into a piece of steel? Well, that's where the intense artistry and craftsmanship come into play.
It all starts with forming those shells from flat steel, either with huge presses or by painstakingly hammering them by hand. Then comes the heat treatment. The shells are often baked in a kiln to make the metal stable, but the final, most crucial step is the tuning. This is where a master tuner uses literally thousands of hammer strikes to shape each note and its 3 distinct harmonic frequencies. And believe me, this is by far the hardest and slowest part of the whole process.
The type of steel they use makes a huge difference too. Nitridate steel gives you this bright, crystal clear sound that doesn't linger too long, which is perfect for fast, rhythmic players. But stainless steel? That's warmer, richer, and has a super long sustain, which is just beautiful for slower, more meditative playing where you want the notes to wash over each other.
Okay, so we've covered the history, the physics, and the craftsmanship. But this all brings us back to that final, maybe most important question.
Why do our brains love this sound so much? What's really going on up there?
It's no surprise that this sound is actually being used more and more in sound therapy. There's real evidence that its calming tones can lower stress hormones like cortisol. It can be a way to express emotion without words. And that meditative quality, it can help people sleep better and even help manage pain by getting those natural endorphins flowing. But ultimately, it all comes back to that simple 1-2-3 ratio. Here's the deal. Our brains are constantly trying to make sense of the sounds around us. And when sound waves are messy and complex, our brain hears it as noise. But when they line up in a clean, simple ratio like a handpan's, our brain registers it as harmony. It's an effortless sound for our brain to process, which is exactly what makes it so calming and so incredibly pleasing.
Which kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In our world, which is so full of digital alerts and constant noise, the handpan offers something pure, resonant, and simple. It's an instrument born in our century, but it feels ancient and grounding. Maybe, just maybe, its incredible appeal is that it's the perfect acoustic antidote to the noise of modern life.